spot that you really want to be in, but, back against the wall, that's what happens when you're 8th seed. You can't climb out of it.
I think the most important card for Chris in this matchup is probably going to be Elvish Mystic. Chris is on the play, and I could see Chris starting on Elvish Mystic. Philip plays a 1-drop. Chris then immediately just accelerates into. Well, I suppose he doesn't have any big 3s. He has his game's at 4. He needs to reach his 4 before a turn early. So Elvish Mystic / I'll back up. Elvish Mystic / Sylvan Caryatid. Chris makes one of those turn 1, and then on turn 4 he plays something like Gore Clan Rampager, Pelucranos World Eater, something that's just impossible for mono red to get past. To get past Pelucranos, Philip is going to need to throw a creature into it and throw a lightning strike into it.
Yeah, it's going to take a prayer. Is what it's going to take to get by that 5/5 World Eater. Take a look at Philip's deck list here. He's got his 4 O's. I'll just rally off here. Challenger's Phoenix, Fanatic of Mogus, Firefish Striker, Boros Reckoner, Rakdos Cackler, Ash Zealot, Burning Tree Emissary, Lightning Strike, Magma Jet. Then he's got 2 shots and a Gorehouse Chainwalker to go along with 21 Mountains. So he's not as aggressive as Turtonwald's version is. He's a little bit bigger, but he's got less lands and no Mutavault. So there's definitely a trade-off here.
Yeah, he has no Mutavaults. That's a little strange, and I think it's because he's going. There's this nice interaction. You notice he's playing the 4 Burning Tree Emissaries and 4 Boros Reckoners in the main. They play extremely well with Fanatic of Mogus. That's the 4/2 for 4. It deals damage upstairs, equal to your devotion to red. So he's playing all these hybrid cards with as many red mana symbols as possible. And that may be the reason he's not thrilled about Mutavault in the deck.
And we will get to the sideboards in just a little bit as soon as this game is over. Don't forget, after this game is over as well, it'll be trivia time. We'll certainly ask you guys a question. 6 months of premium is what will be given away. We'll explain the rules when we do get to our sideboard game, but it looks like these players are done shuffling, done analyzing the deck list, and they are going to lay out 7 cards, and our semifinals will be underway momentarily.
Yeah, so we see Chris Posperlis is on the play. I'm thinking the name of the game is Chris needs to hit one of his 4-drops on turn 3. Now on the other side, Philip has ways to get around those 4-drops. I think one of his most important cards here is going to be Firefist Striker. It will buy him an extra turn once Chris plays one of the large creatures.
Alright, so any mulligans to be had here? Chris is going to go down to 6. If you're Philip, you're on the draw here. You got to be pretty thrilled about that, as long as you can find a 7 to keep.
Well, and Chris's Gruul deck is not the friendliest deck to mulligans. Remember, because his game plan relies on accelerating out creatures really early, his good hands will have to have 1 lands, 2 accelerants, and 3 monsters. That's 3 pieces of the puzzle that have to come together. And so when you go down on cards, it becomes a lot more likely that you'll be missing one of those 3 pieces. It's kind of the ramp deck dilemma. It's why you've seen some players like Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa has explicitly said he thinks ramp is a flawed archetype for that reason. And, because just the percentage of games where you're missing one of those 3 pieces is too high. At 7, it's fine, but ramp decks in general don't mulligan particularly well.
No, they don't. I mean, again, you can mulligan down to 6 with a ramp deck, but that's pretty much as far as you can go. You probably have to keep a Sketcher then, because you do, as you mentioned, need everything to come together for your deck to be able to operate. And when it does come together, your deck is actually quite powerful. But if you mulligan down to 5 or less than that, it's unlikely that it's going to happen.
And Philip, with the stylish cut there, deals off the top 3 cards, puts them on the bottom. CV.
Little Juju.
Yeah.
And did it work?
I mean, you never want to be that guy who cheers for your opponent to mulligan to 5, do you? You'd rather his deck show up and then you just beat him anyway. That's at least my feeling on the matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris does not seem pleased.
No, he really does not. He knows the matchup. He knows he's against mono red. He knows exactly what Philip is packing. Is he happy with the opening 6?
Yeah, it seems like it's something where it's some lands and some spells, and it's not the composition that he wants at all.
Yep, not happy. So
Yes.
away we go, down to 5. A bad start here for Chris. Doesn't mean it's over, but if you're Philip, again, you're the 8th seed. You're in a pretty difficult matchup. Seeing your opponent mulligan down to 5 here, not the worst place in the world to be. It gives you the opportunity to steal game 1.
Yeah, there's not much card advantage in Chris's deck, so usually when you're on a multiply on the play, for example, Chris will be down 3 cards. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up. The ways you can do that is really by making your opponent's cards irrelevant. For Chris to do that, he's going to have to reach one of his 4-drops, It's the only things that really, he has his game on turns 1 through 3 are Elvish Mystic, Sylvan Caryatid, Scavenging Ooze, Lightning Strike, Mizium Mortars. Those are all cards that are 1 for 1, so those aren't actually ways to draw back into the game. He's going to have to hit one of his 4 drops before he actually starts making Philip's cards irrelevant. That's going to be difficult to do on this 5-card hand.
3, 4, and 5. How do we do, Chris?
All right, it'll serve.
Not thrilled.
No, I mean, you can never be thrilled about a 5-card hand, especially out of a Gruul deck. When you're playing against something that is so a streamlined deck like Mono Red.
Yeah. You're going to be under the gun right away. So assuming, he still looks like he's still thinking this one over.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't a keep right away. There's no advantage, and sometimes in matchups when you have abysmal hands, you'll see players, just like concede the first game once they know what their opponent's playing.
Wow.
Chris knows what Philip's playing, so there's no advantage there. He's going to go to 4. I don't know if there's a 4 that he can actually keep. I think his best 4 is 3 lands and a Sylvan Caryatid.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 lands Caryatid and then like a mystery card. That's like the exact hand that I was thinking too.
I think Mr. Card could even be a land.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a land or a 4-drop.
Yeah.
That would be his best hand. Or even a removal spell, I suppose, is fine.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to hit that. He still has to hit a 4-drop, and he has to hit it by turn 4, I think, at the latest.
So if you guys are just joining us, Cedric Hills, Matthias Hunt, Star City Games Open Series here in Worcester. As you're seeing Chris on your left take a mulligan down to 4 in the semifinals here. Definitely a tough spot for him to be in. You can see Philip on the right there. He's eager.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty excited about the match. I think he's a little less excited now that he's on a 4-card hand.
Yeah.
Philip continues to just deal 3 cards to the bottom.
It's all about that juju.
Just hexing the deck.
Yeah. Saw him reach for his deck right away. I thought he was going down to 3.
Right,
okay.
Sure.
So there's a forest to start for Chris.
I mean, we'll see if Chris's deck can show up to the game. It's going to be pretty difficult for it to do it.
Rakdos Cackler to begin. Unleashed. Is it the Caryatid maybe?
I mean, it's 2 lands and a 2-drop. That's pretty good already. It's Scavenging Ooze. It's unfortunately just a 2/2 right now. But, I mean, he can't hope for much more than that.
And now here's a Brain Emissary, and there is a Lightning Strike. Get that ooze out of here. Come across for 2. Is Philip going to knock Chris down? 18. First blood in the semifinals.
All right, so can Chris make another spell here? He has a 3rd land. And I think when you have the mulligans to really low numbers, you'd rather have all land. Like, all lands is a pretty decent mulligan.
Of course.
Before.
Yeah, definitely.
At least that way when you draw something, you can play it. At least you get to play the game. But granted, that Firefist Striker is insane for Philip. It means even if Chris manages to make a creature, it's not going to matter. It's not going to stop the attacks.
Chris just draws his card and passes his turn back. We've got Chris down to 14 here, and it's going to be even more in just a moment because there is your Fanatic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Lava Axe on a 4/2. That's excellent value. Doesn't have haste, but that puts him down to 3, I believe.
Yeah, 5. Then he's going to take 6 more. Yeah, so he's going to go down to 3. He's going to draw his card, and he's going to pack it in.
And by knowing deck lists there, Philip was able to continue to play creatures. Otherwise, he may have to be worried about something like Anger of the Gods coming from Chris Posperlis. He did start on, Forest Mountain, so there was a possible sweeper. No fear. He knows the deck list. Full speed ahead.
Yeah. So we are going to bring it back to the booth here because it is time for our premium giveaway question. For those of you just joining us, we will explain the rules to you, of course. I am going to let you, Matthias, do the question.
This is a good one.
But the rules.
All right.
The
Please
rules.
explain.
Really
Explain
quick.
what
You're
this is
so
gonna be.
excited for this
I'm
question.
really excited about this
I know.
question.
He's been brewing this up all day. So very quickly, Matthias is going to ask you guys a question. Make sure you have your Twitters open. You're going to answer this question with the hashtag of SCG Premium. Again, we will announce a winner at the conclusion of our semifinal round from one person who does get it correct. So again, it's about accuracy, not speed. And we'll announce the winner again at the conclusion of the semifinal round, which could take a little while because we got a Esper versus Blue White mirror between Calcano and Teats. But for now, your question.
All right. So this has to do with some of the flavor of Theros. I know. Everyone's like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
But what I want to know, this is So we've been seeing a lot of cards today. Just over the weekend, I think the one we most recently saw was Yoked Ox.
Yeah.
So a lot of these vanilla creatures all have quotes on them, and I want to know what epic novel is quoted on many Theros cards, such as Yoked Ox and Fellhide Minotaur. So this is a famous novel. It's not actually. It's only a real novel if you live on the plane of Theros, but it's an epic novel, and you can read many excerpts of it on a lot of the flavor texts of the cards.
All right. Well, if you know the name of that epic novel, tweet your answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium, and again, we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our semifinals. As we're going to take a look at the sideboards here, Philip is up a game, so we're going to start on Chris's side, and you foreshadow a little bit with Anger of the Gods, and we know that Chris has some of those.
Okay, well, those are coming in this matchup.
Yeah, they are.
Anger of the Gods is good here. He's going to play those ones. Outside of that, he has a bunch of cards which aren't for this matchup. Destructive Revelry, Fade into Antiquity, Rurikthar, Burning Earth. He has Peak Eruption. That's a land destruction spell, and it deals damage for mountains. Wrong matchup.
Yeah, agreed.
That's for the mirror.
Yep.
He could board it in, and I don't think he should. I don't think blowing up mono red's lands is where you want to be. So we know that 3 Anger of the Gods will come in. The only other card that I think is a really reasonable card to board in might be Bow of Nylea. It has a mode where it gains 3 life a turn, and that I don't think you can overlook that. It gives Chris a way to pull himself out of burn range. Its other abilities, it can deal 2 to a flyer. There is Chandra's Phoenix in Bertorelli's deck, so it could hit a Chandra's Phoenix. It could put 1/1 counters on a creature. I don't think that's particularly relevant. The only card creature you'd really want to put 1/1 counters on would be Sylvan Caryatid, because that's hexproof. So we'll see if he goes for that card, but for sure, the Anger of the Gods, that's for this matchup.
On Bertorelli's side, you have a sideboard there that's after Patrick Sullivan's heart. A couple of forbs there in Frostborn Weird, Burning Earth, and Mizium Mortars to go along with 2 Chandra Pyre Masters and the Hammer of Porphyros. I think Mizium Mortars times 4 is an easy inclusion when there are some pretty big creatures to kill like Gorklan Rampager out there. Interestingly enough, however, Mizium Mortars is not going to take care of Glucranos or Ember Swallower.
I'm not sure you board it in because of that. I don't actually know if it kills that many things. The deck list. You look at his, I'm not sold on Mizium Mortars. I think you can bring. It's good against some of the creatures. But it doesn't go upstairs. I'm not positive you want it.
I don't love it, but it might just be a necessary evil where you want to make sure you have enough answers to Scavenging Ooze. You want to make sure that you're able to take care of. Stormbreath Dragon isn't the greatest target. Not even sure if he's going to leave that in. So I can see an argument for bringing it in or leaving it out because those guys conveniently do have 5 toughness.
I do know what card I do want, and that card's Chandra Pyromaster.
Okay.
Its +1 deals with Elvish Mystic, and more so, his +1 pushes through any of the large creatures that the red-green deck can play. So I really like in this matchup, not only can it kill things, but it advances your game plan.
All right, well, we're going to see how these players do sideboard. Philip's going to take a long look at his 15, make sure he's happy. Chris is already basically done shuffling, has sideboarded how he feels is appropriate and is ready. He'd like to keep more than 4 cards, I think is his thought.
Well, yeah, I think the first part of his strategy is to have a reasonable number of cards in his opening hand. Obviously, playing on 4 cards was very difficult for him last game, and he actually made a 2-drop. He made 2 lands on 2-drop and made his 3-drop on 3rd land on turn 3. That's more than can be expected off a lot of mulligans to 4.
Mm-hmm. And of course, don't forget that our backup match over there is between Christian Calcano, the gold level pro, playing against former Invitational and multiple-time Specialty Games Open Series winner Max Teets. Esper versus Blue White. We'll be cutting that match after this one. Still in game 1,
Wow.
predictably.
Wow, still in game 1. Okay, and that has no indication of who's winning at the moment.
Hey, these Revelation Jace mirrors, they take a while. Got to get that Aetherling in play. That things speed up. That's what things get turbocharged.
That's the end of the game.
Yeah.
The game's over when someone resolves Aetherling, but I don't know why you're trying to cast Aetherling. Why you really ever?
I would just jam it on turn 6 every time.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yep. That's why I don't play Blue
If I
Man.
verdict it, you're gonna feel really bad about
No, just jam another one the next turn.
How many are you playing?
Didn't say.
All right. Well,
I didn't say.
Man.
We're being told that
I've been playing these matches wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
They only
that's what I
have
know.
lands in play over there right now. Both players only have lands.
So you tap out on 6 mana for your Aetherling, all right?
Bring it on.
All right, so I'm going to be like, untap Revelation,
Yeah.
untap Verdict,
Get dead.
go.
Play another one. With a land up.
Oh, okay. So we have a land of but I didn't count. Okay, so I had some mana left over after I verdicted. You know,
Okay.
because my verdict only costs 4,
All right.
and now I have 7 lands. So
All right.
I'm not sure that guy's resolving.
All right, cast it.
Okay, so I could Essence Scatter or
Dispel it.
Syncopate. Oh man, so we're post board now.
No. I have a main deck. I'm tapped out.
You're
again,
making
though.
your main deck.
I'm tapped out
okay,
again, though.
Okay, so Dispel resolves.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's see what other kill spells. Detention Sphere. We'll just sphere it now.
All right, that resolves. All right.
You can't keep having more Etherlings. This is only going to work
I
for
don't
2
have.
more
I don't have
turns.
another one.
Okay.
All right, Prophetic Prism.
Oh, you're going to blow up the Detention Sphere. Oh, okay.
As we see, Chris is going to start off with a mountain, as is Philip, and Chris is going to pass back. So no turn 1 or 2 play. Philip doesn't have anything either. I think we might be seeing a Burning Tree Emissary turn
I'm
here.
surprised.
Though. Wow, slow starts for
I'm
both.
surprised that Philip kept this hand. I don't understand how you can keep that in this matchup. If you cannot go toe to toe on 3 and 4 mana spells with Chris.
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
care what your spells are. Chris's spells are 5/5s for 4 that eat your things, and 4/5s for 4 that eat your lands.
Chris doesn't have anything either. I mean, Chris probably just has like a Lightning Strike and some removal spells in his hand.
Chris, removal spells are fine. I mean,
Oh, no Lightning Strike for the Reckoner. Maybe a Mortar's in the grip. I'm interested to see what both players have in their hand. This is probably some 5 toughness
yeah,
creature.
Polukranos, World Eater.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, fortunately for Bertorelli, the Reckoner actually can trade with Polukranos. Polukranos is a card I'm interested to see how good it is. So my first question was, is this actually better than Deadbridge Goliath? It's somewhere. So you have like your 5/5s for 4. You have like Deadbridge Goliath at one level. You know, better than that's Advent of the Worm. And it's like Polukranos could either be worse than both, in between the two, or better than both. And I'm really excited to see where it falls. Its monstrous ability is a little counterintuitive. It actually costs a lot of mana. It's a strange. So if he gets 5, he'd need 7 mana to actually kill the Boros Reckoner with it.
Here's Nashville post combat. No, it doesn't want to tussle with the World Eater.
I mean, the World Eater is pretty big.
5 mana. This has got to be a Storm Breath Dragon. Yeah, we're gonna get on the offensive here.
All right.
5/5 and a 4/4 coming to the red zone.
So Posperlis is just gonna race. Game on.
Yeah, I mean, I love the race. There's no like Blacksmith's Hack to be worried about anymore either.
I actually okay. If I'm Posperlis, I don't like the race here. I'm gonna say I don't because. So Bertorelli kept a hand with nothing until Boros Reckoner, right? That's strange. You have to be suspicious. What did he keep? He kept a 7. He's in the top 4. He's a good player. Do you have the card yet?
Actually, some sort of threaten? No, I
How
don't have
about
the card.
Fanatic of Mogus? Look how many red mana symbols are on Bertorelli's side of the
Okay.
board. Okay, that's a swing for 5, and then a Fanatic Mogus that'll burn you for 6. That'll put Chris down to 6 if he plays it.
Okay, that's legit. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris Posperlis actually races that right now.
You see Philip down to 11 after taking that 9 right in the face.
If he has another land, it could even be like Rakdos Cackler, Fanatic of Mogus, deal 7.
Oh, Mortars isn't bad, taking care of the dragon.
Okay, Mortis is good here. It's no Fanatic of Mogus. I was really hoping to see just this gigantic burn spell upstairs. One thing that, Bertorelli, I think he has to continue attacking. He has 5 power and first strike here, but remember that Polukranos is a monster. It gets even bigger. The idea of hanging back and blocking just doesn't. I mean, you're playing mono red first of all. Don't block against Gruul. He's just gonna like Gorkhan Rampager it or something.
Yeah, I don't love
kill your guy.
I don't love the prospect of blocking either. I'm 100% with you on that one.
I think if you're blocking, then you've already lost the game. We see that Fanatic Mogus. That's a card which we don't actually know if he has. It was one that I was saying. That's the card from Posperlis I'm terrified of.
Like the thought process here for Philip is like, okay, I've got Boros Reckoner with the first strike available. I've got Ash Zealot, so I've got 5 damage of first strike. But the monstrosity part of this card makes everything a disaster, and I think Anger of the Gods is about to happen
There's
here.
no way that works. There's no way.
Yeah.
But that's actually going to kill off the Polukranos.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of this either. I think if you want to play this game with your Posperlis, you could just, monstrous up your Polukranos, eat Ash Zealot, and say go.
Yeah, make your guy just absolutely gigantic and then just pass.
Well, no, if he makes the guy a 7/7, it can swing.
Yeah,
Well, I guess then it would trade. But yeah, just make your guy huge.
Yeah, I mean, he could just make his guy huge and then
Huge,
cast
huge,
Anger of
huge.
Gods the next turn. Like, have his Polukranos just be a brick wall.
Yeah, if you're not scared of getting burned out, then, go for it, right?
Especially when you're sitting pretty at 17. Damage is going to go from the Reckoner over this way.
Well, okay. In his defense, if he's worried about that Fanatic Amogus play, he just needs to get that stuff off the table. And we actually do see a Fanatic in Bertorelli's hand.
Okay.
You know,
That's legit.
That takes away Bertorelli's ability to deal damage.
So here's Domri checking for blackjack, miss. And pass. So Philip is going to untap here. He's going to draw himself a card. It's another Boros Reckoner. You see Magma Jet over here. It looks like he's just going to go a Minotaur Wizard. Doesn't kill the Domri. Just going to pass the turn
So
back.
in his hand, he has a Shock, a Magma Jet, and a Fanatic of Mogus, among other cards.
And there's a Sylvan Caryatid going to go to Posperlis' hand. Going to play a Forest. We know he's got the 0-3 wall.
Yeah, so Posperlis now up to 7 lands. He plays Scavenging Ooze, and actually a little bit of negative synergy there. Unfortunately, Anger the God exiled all the creatures when it killed it, so Ooze does not have too much to eat right now. Still a fine creature. It's just a creature, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that's step one.
Yeah, he needs to deal with the Boros Reckoner. That card is one of the best weapons, actually, that Posperlis has in this matchup.
Caryatid's going to come down, and Posperlis just has 1 card left in his hand. Don't know what the top card of his deck is, as his Domri did find the 0-3 wall last turn, so he's a little low on fuel.
Now that the World Eater is gone, it's possible that Posperlis just doesn't have another large monster, in which case Bertorelli can slowly start building his way towards 17 damage.
Slow but steady. I mean, there'd have to be quite a few misses there with the Domri and stuff like that. I think a lot of things are going to have to break Philip's way, but he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination.
So we see here you have 5 mountains in play. Among his hand is Shock, Magma Jet, Fanatic of Mogus, and an unknown card. So I'm going to go ahead and read Domri here. I think he wants to check the fight clause on it. It's not, yeah, it still deals damage, so you know that Boros Reckoner is really just an issue for Posperlis. Actually, his 4th card is a second Fanatic of Mogus. So Bertorelli does not have to deal much damage here. He is swinging with Reckoner. It just eats Sylvan Caryatid. And he's going to go for the first Fanatic of Mogus. That's 4 damage.
All right, upstairs we go.
And does he
He
redirect?
could redirect,
He
yeah.
could redirect and then shock out the Domri. He's going to go ahead and do that. I think we're going to see that shock in his hand finish the job.
This is going to be, I think we're going to see in response to the activation, yeah. He's going to take care of
Shocks
this.
with the Scavengers even better. And that was a pretty excellent bait there. Yeah, Philip still does have... Yeah, it does still get exiled. Philip still has the Magma Jet to deal with Domri Rod next turn.
That's the same thing I was thinking too. So he's got the Planeswalker covered. What he needs right now is just a big boom boom.
How great is this? Bertorelli is out card advantaging. He's using, he's just out muscling the Gruul deck right now.
Yeah, which is really surprising to see happen.
And I wonder, I wonder how if that Pelucranos, that's the play I'm really interested about. So, of note, if the Pelucranos, we're going to talk about a card which no one played, right? Deadbridge Goliath. That's from Ravnica. If the Pelucranos was a Deadbridge Goliath, Posperlis right now could activate Mutavault and then scavenge onto it, making it a 7/7. So the question is, is Pelucranos actually better than just Deadbridge Goliath?
That's a legit question. It really is.
It's interesting. I mean, its ability certainly is powerful. And Posperlis attacks with the Mutavault. He is still committed to staying on the offensive.
Now, there's another Scavenging Ooze to follow things up with.
And he has 2 green mana sources up this time, and I think he's going to go ahead and eat things. He's learned his lesson. He's going to eat things while Bertorelli's tapped out.
Yeah, which you should definitely do, because now Ooze is a 4/4. Life gain is obviously nice, but that thing being a 4/4 is really, really important. Wish it could be a 5/5 so it can dodge Mizium Mortars, but you can't get everything you want.
Bertorelli looks like he's doing pretty well here, but there still is some difficulty for him. Remember, he has the biggest creatures in his deck are already in play. He can maybe kill the Ooze, kill the Domri, and trade with the Mutavaults, but even then, they get into a top deck war, and that's, with Chris at 20, that's not a place where Philip wants to be. So even after he deals with everything, he's going to have to win that top deck war.
We got an update here. Christian Calcano, Esper defeats Max Tietz in game number 1, playing Blue-Eye Control. We've seen it before. Looks like we may see it again as the gold level pro defeats the former Invitational winner in Game 1 in the semifinals.
Calcano has taken down so many players today playing green-white. He's kind of just like a fan favorite. I think, everybody likes Calcano. So it's really exciting to see him do so well at this tournament. We see 2 Magma Jets and a Fanatic of Mogus for Bertorelli.
Looks like Fnatic is incoming now.
Yeah, he swung, both those creatures actually swung at Chris, not at Domery Rod. And now that means this Fnatic has potential to do 5 damage. We'll see where it goes.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Well, it's interesting if he wanted to kill Domery. It's interesting that he didn't try to attack Domery.
Yeah, or maybe the option of Magma Jet, the upkeep either, so you could find a land drop for the Fnatic. Not sure if he wants a 6th land though.
Yeah, I don't think you actually want. I don't think you want to use Magma Jet to search for land.
Yeah.
You probably just want to use it to search for big things. So
3 mana, another Domri. Yeah, not too surprising there.
Unfortunately, sometimes when you kill Planeswalker, they just play another copy of the exact same Planeswalker because they usually play 4.
So Domri comes in, starts on 3 counters. Chris deciding, do I want to go down and battle somebody with my ooze, or do I want to go up, up, up? Up, up, up. Looks like the up. Let's leave it at 3 for now.
He'd like to eat one more creature before they start fighting. I don't know if there is another creature for him to eat. I think the Anger of the Gods and the Scavenging Oozes have cleared out the graveyards right now.
I think that is the issue at hand right now.
Ooze can eat, and I'll put that in quotes. It can take down the Boros Reckoner, but then the Reckoner's passive Death Trigger will, in turn, take down the Scavenging Ooze.
We'll see Mutavault's going to take out a Fnatic. Those are going to trade.
This is a pretty savvy move, as now he can eat the Fanatic of Mogus with the Ooze and make the Ooze a 5/5.
And into the red zone, too.
Yeah, I like this. Posperlis is just racing. I like that a fair amount right now. The one thing is, I'm not sure how he's going to finish the race. Bertorelli can always leave back a Boros Reckoner as a blocker.
Yeah, and then that's going to be very difficult for the Ooze to be able to get through, as Bertorelli is going to untap, take a draw step. Is that another Reckoner?
That is a 2nd Reckoner. That's a 3rd Reckoner. That's a huge draw right now for Bertorelli.
So that means he can attack with his other Reckoner and the Fnatic, and then leave a Reckoner on defense.
Yeah, he actually, I believe, has the win in 2 turns. He can swing 7, put Chris down to 7, Magma Jet the Domery, play his own Reckoner.
That's a rock and a hard place. Jeez.
I mean, that's going to be... It's very hard when someone's attacking you with 2 Reckoners and has a 2nd Magma Jet in hand to not take 7 that turn. So I think Bertorelli has a 2-turn clock here to victory.
That Ooze has been gaining life, too, and somehow, as you said, the red deck is...
It's going late. I'm really impressed by these Fanatic of Mogus.
Yeah, me too.
There was a card I just looked at and I was like, oh, that guy. But no, this is real. I'm impressed. And Bertorelli making sure he wants to make sure he makes the right play here.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking time. He wants to make sure that he crafts the necessary game plan. Make sure he doesn't, he can tell, even though he's sitting at 4 life, I think he knows that I think I might be able to win this game now because I just drew a 3rd Boros Reckoner. Feeling pretty good, if I dodge another Stormbreath Dragon, this thing might be all mine.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that he just wants to lead back the Reckoner to block. He can still swing 4, play the 2nd Reckoner, leave up double red, and the next attack he can probably, with the help of the Magma Jets, just deal 10. That's not unreasonable either. And I think that's the line he's going to go for. This is safer, I think. I don't know how many ways Chris can remove Boros Reckoner. Well, I guess he has a lot of life to work with. So now, yeah, Bertorelli has double blockers.
I think you might jet that Domri.
Yeah, I don't actually like jetting the Domri right now because I don't think it matters whether Chris has blockers. Chris could draw another creature, right?
Yeah.
That's the danger. Like, why does that matter? I want the Magma Jet to go to the dome right here because then he puts Chris to 8, another Magma Jet puts Chris to 6, swing 2 Boros Reckoners. Like, I don't know how Chris doesn't take 6 on that swing.
I don't know if you saw the card that was placed on top there, but another Fnatic.
Oh, well that's pretty good too. That right now deals 8, which with the Magma Jet in his hand is the entire life total.
Yeah, also the attack step is pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, he has... This Reckoner Fnatic interaction just deals loads of damage.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not this deck can stand up to the control deck if he makes the finals. It's slower, but it deals damage in much larger quantities than I'd expected.
Yeah, me too. And he does still have the aggressive starts available to him. He's a little bit more durable of a deck than Turtenwald's. Turtenwald's is just all in from the start. So let's see what Posperlis does come up with here. He's got that Scattered News sitting at a 5/5. 10-4 is the life total score. And we don't know what's hiding over there in Posperlis' hand. Obviously not a Stormbreath Dragon, as that would have been lights out by now.
This is Bertorelli's first non-FNM tournament.
Yep.
This is all right.
I mean, pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. And I like the methodical way with which he plays here. So Posperlis, he has his opponent down to 4, but he's got... This board is not very nice for him to look at.
No,
it's
not
really
at all.
Scary. If he had... I'm trying to think of what he can actually break through with.
He just says pass the turn back.
If he had a Blood Rushed Gore Clan Rampager had a chance. That was one way to give, that would have gotten a 9 power, which only tramples over for 3. He'd need someone to do the last point. Perhaps a Chandra Pyromaster.
Yeah.
There was a way. This is huge, though. That's
for 8.
This is the 4th Fanatic, no, the 3rd Fanatic.
3rd or 4th, yeah. I think this is the 3rd one. We're going upstairs.
Yeah, and I don't think Philip actually needed this draw to win. I think the Magma Jets would have done it if the first one was up to the pointed to the dome, but scrying this to the top takes away a lot of the difficulty here.
That is a delight, as they say.
And I'll say I was a doubter when Philip's first play was Boros Reckoner.
Yeah,
I was
me
saying,
too.
what is the mono red deck doing? But I stand corrected here. This is some big game.
You see Philip just holding that there saying, is this okay? Does this resolve? I really, really want this to resolve, if you don't mind.
What does Chris have in response? He's gonna
lightning strike in his deck.
Lightning strike something. He's gonna lightning strike a Boros Reckoner. Oh boy. That doesn't actually save any life.
Yeah, so 3 would go to that, means 3 would go upstairs, and then, that doesn't save anything.
As you play against Boros Reckoner, killing Boros Reckoner with red spells is one of the more miserable feelings.
Yeah. Don't poke the bear.
Okay, sure. It's 3 damage to the Minotaur Wizard.
Yeah.
You could play that with Kragma Warcaller. Just realized that
boy.
after watching a bunch of Limited, I want to put that in a Minotaur tribal deck right now. That sounds really good, right? Yeah, for Constructed.
So, Maze's End at the last Pro Tour.
I want to play Tribal Minotaurs.
Tribal Minotaurs at this Pro Tour.
Oh, I can only hope. Lightning Strike hits the Boros Reckoner.
Yeah, we'll see where the redirection's going to go.
Does this save him? He has one other card. I don't know what the card could possibly be.
In Posperlis' hand, we don't know what that card is.
Yeah,
we know that Bertorelli has Magma Jet, though.
I don't know how the last card saves him. Bertorelli, we know, doesn't have the land for it.
Yeah,
that just goes upstairs. Posperlis drops to 7.
Yeah. Cow you.
Now it's 5. So dealing him still down to 2.
Yep.
Actually taking 3 from the Boros Reckoner didn't really change anything.
Yeah, he gets to remove.
Well, we need to confirm that he hit the Fanatic. They remembered the Fanatic Amogus trigger.
Yeah, that could get awkward. So there's going to be a little bit of life gain. Assuming that he remembered his Fanatic trigger, he goes up to 8 and then down. He should go down to 3.
Yeah. Is he at 8 or 3? That's really an important distinction.
Yeah. And he's going to turn both creatures sideways.
So he's at 5 right now, and that doesn't matter. That's still the lethal swing.
Yeah.
It was stomping down in Posperlis' hand.
So Philip Bertorelli on to the finals. Defeats Chris Posperlis 2-0 in a matchup